right, we have the new meta, episode 4, with Wes Barker, prominent YouTube star. Oh, yeah. Can you use the word star?
You got it. Yeah, you have to. You got to fake it till you make it.
Perfect. So, yeah, Wes, just to kick us off, your background, kind of like the origin story, if you're a superhero.
First off, why aren't you wearing pants? That was a weird choice.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Last minute choice.
The origin story, what do you mean? Like how I got into magic, how I became...
tell us about yourself and what shaped you into the magician and star that you are today. Yeah.
I guess it was kind of like when I was in university, I started learning magic tricks when I had like a day job. So my summer job in university was working for the city of Surrey, drive around a truck, fill potholes in the road, that kind of thing, and pick up garbage, the usual, the dream job, really. Right. And
why'd you keep going?
Surprisingly, I hated it. Yeah. And I at work, just because you're kind of, your lunch breaks, you only have 30 minutes, and you're just stuck in your truck on the side of the road.
Right.
So I was like, what am I going to do? So I bought these books on magic, because I'd seen David Blaine on TV. Yeah. And I started I'll learn some card tricks. It'd be fun for the bar or whatever.
Yeah.
My poor partner, I'm learning terrible card tricks every day. My partner's like, oh, cool, man. Yeah. And I started getting good at it. Yeah. And then I'd go back to university during the rest of the year, and I'd have these tricks in my bag and campus pub, and it was a lot of fun. And I never really thought I'd be doing anything with magic in the future. I was just playing basketball, and then I was in the business program. Yeah. And then the more business classes I did, the more I realized I only found two types of classes. Ones that were common sense,
right,
or ones that I'm like, oh, this is outdated and irrelevant. Those are the only two I could ever find, right. And I'm like, I don't like this, and I'm like, I'm done with school. And then I went back to the terrible job, and then and one day they offered me a promotion, and I was like, I quit. I'm going to be a magician. And
so it's like, here's more money, here's a promotion.
Yeah,
it's like, I'm actually going to counter that.
Yeah.
I counter your offer with quitting.
But did you leave? Did you leave with a magic trick?
Well, my boss was like, I don't think you know what promotion means. And I was like, no, I'm out. And he's like, okay. And I just, and he was so nice, because he called me maybe a week later.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, man,
are you sure?
You can have your job back. And I was like, I'm like, I got it. And I honestly, even in that moment, didn't know I was going to be this solo entertainer, entrepreneur guy. I didn't even know how to do that.
It was a shot. You were basically like, this is my time. I need to do it now. I feel like the time's right. Maybe it wasn't.
I think I even thought that I was still going to go back to a job at some point. I think I literally had some savings, and I wasn't totally sure.
You're like, I'm going to try.
Yeah.
Give the old college try. Yeah. Now that I've dropped out.
Yeah. Yeah, but then in that time, I actually had some really successful shows go down, and then I started thinking maybe this is a thing.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where it started for me. It's always been, I've always been the guy that knew a couple card tricks, even in high school, and I've always been the class clown. Yeah. And I've never been afraid to do an open mic stand-up comedy night. I've always sort of had that inclining. Yeah. But actually performing, I wasn't a theater kid. My parents aren't artists or anything. So it's a very weird, random path. I don't really know how I got on it, but I'm stoked it worked out.
Yeah, I remember that you and I had a class, I think it was a communications class, and you actually did a presentation on magic, and the teacher was like, you might want to stay in school.
Yeah.
So
this will never work.
I forget who your name is, but joke's on you. Yeah. At this point,
really, 125 or what?
Yeah. It
might have been my second time in that class. I took it twice, I think. Yeah. I don't know. I remember. I heard I didn't get along, because I did my presentation. Then you had to come back the next class and watch presentations. Yeah. And but I remember that. You remember the movie The Tooth Fairy with The Rock?
Oh yeah.
That was playing, and I was like, I'm gonna go to that instead. You're gonna lose 4% if you don't stay and watch this. Just 4% if you leave right now. I'm like, take my 4%. I don't need this
solid life decision.
Yeah, and the Tooth Fairy, not a good movie.
Yeah.
So still don't regret it.
Was it worth 4%?
It was. I don't know. Yeah, joke's on her. I'm killing it.
It's so good. So good. But yeah, at the end of the day, you had to kind of take a leap of faith at some point. Yes. Is really what it came down to. Yeah. And it just makes it. The story is entertaining in the sense that it's you get a promotion, and it's I'm going to counter with quitting. Oh, but it's funny that point it came to. I guess it came to the point where you're probably thinking to yourself something along the lines of, well, this is more responsibility. Yeah. I'm like now going to get locked in if I take this job.
That's what it was. It was like, as soon as he said it, I'm like, oh God,
it's like, am I going to do this for the rest of my life? Or like,
because the amount of money I was making was enough to keep me interested. And then all of a sudden it's like, if you offered me $1 more, I'm probably going to stay here for 30 years.
Right.
So I was like, I'm out. And I knew I had to get out. And then I'm like, I'll be a magician. And then I had about 6 months of sort of savings that I could live off of, whatever. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I'll figure it out. And then in that time, I didn't really do much. Like most people, like, I'll do it. And you don't. You just sleep in every day. You're like, I'm an entrepreneur. Or whatever. And just like not doing anything. Yeah. And then I started running out of money. And like, real talk, this is crazy. Near when I started running out of money, I was starting to have like my body was breaking down. Like I was having nosebleeds that would last like 90 minutes. Huh. I would go cross-eyed.
Was that just stress?
Yeah. But I didn't know this. I'm bleeding like what the hell every day. Yeah. Like for long. I'm waking up cross-eyed. I'd be cross-eyed for 6 hours. No joke. I couldn't leave my house. I'm going to different doctors.
Like you couldn't even see straight.
Nothing. I just totally cross-eyed. Oh God, you know. And then I go to doctor, and finally get to one doctor doing all these tests, and one doctor goes, "Hey man, you're stressed." And I was like, what? He's like, what do you do for work? I'm like, I don't have a job. And he's like, I'm like, yeah, I have money. And he's like, yeah, it's stress.
Oh, wow.
So I started cold calling. This is what my dad's a career salesman, so my brother. Yeah. And then I was like, I got to do what they do. And I literally started hitting the phones, calling up places. I started, I'd like cold call like old age homes. Like, hey, can I do a show on Tuesday morning at 10 a.m.?
Wow.
And they would like give you like $75, whatever.
But it's $75.
Like, all my symptoms went away because instead of just sitting there hoping to become a magician somehow,
right?
I was like starting to like take my own, like I had a little bit of control again,
right?
And then once I figured out the cold calling thing, I started cold calling across the country. I cold called all the way into Australia.
Well, the funny thing is, like, if you cold call somebody for $75, you can get 200, and then if you can get 200, you can get 3, and like so on and so forth, right?
Yeah, and I started calling colleges. Right. And I knew they had a little bit of money, and I'd be like, hey, I'm actually going to be in Ontario next month. Not true.
But you call like 50 places in Ontario.
Exactly. I'd see like 4 schools, and then I'd go, I didn't know what rates to charge. I'm just like, it was crazy. So it worked out, man. A couple friends too, like, put their name in for their company parties, and like, and because like that's one thing about university that was the best, the network.
Yes.
And I'm sure everyone has the same story, and no matter what your business is, I'm just getting calls like, oh hey, like I actually work for an accounting firm with 500 people. You want to do our company party? And like that's gonna be a big payday. I'm like, yeah, sure. And like they don't know I'm terrible at the time.
Jokes on them.
Oh yeah, I had way better promo than my actual skills were.
Oh man, that's good. But yeah, I mean, like you know, I think what it comes down to for a lot of people is like, I've actually spoken about this before in the sense that low pay is actually like a good motivator and like weapon that you can use to like advance your career and or take a leap of faith, because to your point, you get paid a certain amount and you're like, that's a lot of money. And the problem is that I think we all know that once we take that increase in pay, we're going to get used to that lifestyle, and then you can't go backwards.
100%.
Right? It's like once you start spending that money and like getting that, you know, nicer apartment and like, you know, the vacations in, it's like going backwards, very hard.
Well, my dad made a good point when I was working for the city. Like that job at the city, you know, government job, I think at the time would pay like maybe $55,000 a year or something, right? And I was making about 20 or so on the side as a magician, right? And my dad's like, "Yo, that's a great position. You're 25, you make like $75,000 a year." He's like, "You keep supplementing that income, saving this and that." And like he's thinking like a logical person, right?
Right.
He's
totally.
like, "Dude, you're gonna be set." And then I'm like, "Mic drop." No.
Get a couple promotions, get that base up, and still make that side income.
I'm like, "Nah, how about I just blow it all up and try and live on that 20?" And it's hard to scale it back, and that's one other thing. I was like, okay, at the time, I think I'm married now, but I just maybe started dating my wife at that point. Like, it was so new, who knew it probably wasn't going to work out, and it did. She didn't watch this, doesn't matter. And she would watch any video I'm not in, like 100%. She sees my face, she's like, swipe.
I see you every day. Swipe.
Yeah, exactly. Not free, but. So then I was like, I'll take a chance. I got no kids, not married, nothing, don't own anything. Like, now's the time to roll. Who cares?
Well, and what was the worst that could have really happened? It's like you would have run out of money, you would have learned a bunch of stuff, and then you would have gotten a job anyway.
Exactly. That's the thing. And I still feel that way. Like, like no matter what happens, like you can always get a job.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't quitting like some high-paying, once-in-a-lifetime position. It was like a job, like a great job, but it's a job. You find a job, right? And that's a weird thing about. I always tell people too. I'm like, man, you're 20, you're 30, right? You can make and lose $1 million right now. It's not going to affect you at the end of the day, really, right? Like, I mean, if my dad is 62 years old and he loses $1 million, he's got a problem. Right? That's not a good time in your life to lose $1 million. No, but if you do that at 25 or 30, who cares, man? Yeah, like you're fine. Like we don't want to do it, but you can recover.
It won't feel nice, right? But
I should have said 10,000. $1 million seems too big right now.
You're like thinking about that. I would not want to lose that $1 million.
But no, 100K for sure. 100K for sure.
So I mean, I have to ask, like, you know. So obviously you're kind of self-promoting.
Yeah.
Did you ever pull the trick where you're like, "Hi, this is Wes Barker's like secretary trying to like book in." Like, what? Give us the secrets of the calling.
Well, I didn't have to do a lot of those on emailing. Never on the phone really. I would just on email. I set up another email address, fake name, right, and then just like and just send a message as if I'm not me. And,
perfect.
Yeah, it was a way to go. But the one thing I did do that then this made all the difference was. I spent like a lot of money renting my own theater, putting on a big show, getting a real film crew to come in and film it, getting it properly edited.
Wow.
So I was one of the only magicians out there to have like proper footage, you know, and,
of you like on a big stage with an audience,
sold out people.
But you were like actually, so you actually booked the venue. Then you had to sell the tickets, and then actually do like the like set up the whole crew for. Like the whole production.
The first one I did was at the Rio Theater in Vancouver here. It holds like 450 people.
Jeez, okay.
And, like, it was only $1,200 to rent, but at the time...
That's a lot of money.
That's everything. Everything. And then I'm going to try and promote it and stuff.
And then the video crew on top of that.
The video crew on the back. Yeah. So, like, I'm probably, $4,000 in the hole before I even sell the ticket. Right. And it ended up selling out because I was hustling. Like, hard. Like, I personally called or emailed every single person on my Facebook. Like, it took me months. Months. But I sold it out, and then I ended up making a good amount of money off that, which is really what got me going through that. Like, it all happened right when I about ran out of money from quitting that job, so it was the perfect timing. And then that footage I had, I was able to get crazy corporate gigs and stuff because I was like, look, I'm a real guy. And they're like, oh. And then, as the year after that, I even spent even more money doing a bigger show at the Vogue Theater in Vancouver. It's like 1,200 seats. Like,
how much did that cost just to rent?
$6,500 to rent.
Jeez, okay.
Plus an even better film crew this time. Like, and then promotions, and I'm making big props. I was probably $13,000 in the hole before I sold a single ticket. And that was all my money, all my girlfriends, and some of my buddies.
Wow.
Like, we just all dumped in. I don't know why they believe in me. and we went for it. And that one, again, sold out. Everyone got paid.
Leverage that footage for even better gigs.
Now that footage, even better gigs. And then I put that footage on YouTube. And then that's where my first viral videos come from. Pop, pop, pop. I get 3 huge videos out of that. So the next year I'm getting phone calls. I'm on 4 TV shows. America's Got Talent.
So now it's reversing from like you calling people, they're calling you now.
Yeah, it all happens so fast. So like I think I quit my day job in like very end of 2011, like December 2011. And then by midway through 2014, so like 2.5 years later, it's like cruising. And that's like crazy. But those 2.5 years, woohoo! Don't want to do that again.
Well, I mean, I think you bring up like an interesting thing where like, a lot of people say, well, everything is more easily accessed through the internet. But the risks that you took in order to actually get that break online were incredibly significant, right? So it wasn't like you shot a video, of you doing magic and entertainment like in your living room. It was proper, like you put significant amounts of risk and it looked professional. And then you put it out there and then it took off. Right? So I think that's like often I feel like a step that's missing for a lot of people.
And I think a lot of people give up before the finish line too. Because, absolutely. Because like I think the video I put up the first one that went viral, I think it was like my 40th or 50th video. So like I've done 45 videos where I'm like, this will be the one. Nothing. Like, and just repeatedly doing this for years. And that's even 50 videos in, getting a one that really pops off is like pretty good still. My buddy Chris Ramsey's a huge YouTuber now. I think he's 2.5 million subscribers.
Wow.
Now, He went 0 for 300 videos on YouTube.
Wow. 0 for 300.
Yeah, like he was making like peanuts.
It only takes 300 videos to become an overnight success.
Jeez. And he always does this.
Yeah.
He does he speaks for YouTube and stuff sometimes, and like to young YouTubers.
Yeah.
He's like, who wants to make a video and get paid for it? And everyone puts their hand up.
Yeah.
He's like, who wants to make 100 videos and get paid for it?
And get paid for one. Yeah.
Get paid for one, and then like a couple hands. Like, who wants to make 300 videos and not get paid? And like maybe one person will have their hand up. He's like, you're the only YouTuber in here.
Wow.
And it's so true. Like you got to just keep grinding
and
at it.
It could be more too. Like that's a scary thing
for sure.
Right? Like 300 is assuming that your content is getting progressively better.
Yeah.
Right? But if your content stays the same and it's not catching, then it could be just your content is bad.
Yeah. And,
right?
and then there's always this other thing that I always have to remind people.
Yeah.
And it's something that kind of sucks to bring up, but I'm bringing it up anyways. It's like, maybe you're not good enough.
That is incredibly valid these days.
It's such a weird thing,
Yeah.
man. It's like, I don't know what to tell you. Some of these guys, they hit me up, they're asking me questions and stuff. I'm like, hey, man.
I saw your stuff.
I don't know. And maybe it's not your specific skill.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not your thing. Maybe it's just, I don't know what to tell you. But maybe for you, it isn't about grinding. Maybe it's like, get better or pick something else. I don't know. It's a weird thing to tell people. It's very demotivating.
Yeah.
I would say for most people, that's not the case.
Yeah.
But every now and then, yeah, I mean, you can only blame people for so long and be like, I haven't got lucky. I don't know.
But it is the right thing to be honest with them, right?
Yeah.
And to let them know, because that's going to help them grow. And
yeah, like, I don't think this is going to work out, guys.
yeah.
Totally.
It's jokes! Oh my god, they went so serious! Okay, we're not.
No, but it's valid, right?
Yeah.
Because I mean, I think, I break it down to this level. Like, our generation was parented and we all got told that we were special.
Right.
And that's the problem. It's like, the definition of special is to be above normal.
Yeah.
And so like
everybody can't be.
Everybody can't be special because if everybody's special, that means that everybody's normal.
Right.
It's an oxymoron. Like it makes no sense. So what takes off on YouTube? What takes off on different platforms? It's like, well, you have to be special.
Yeah.
It has to be something out of the ordinary.
Totally.
And so there are things that are out of the ordinary, but they need to be out of the ordinary enough to get that traction, right?
Yeah.
And that's what people inevitably follow.
Yeah, it's interesting, especially online. I can really see it. I can say there's like if something's really great, like anything, any video or whatever, say it's like really great.
Yeah.
It's gonna get views. It's gonna get seen.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then there's like, if it's garbage, no one's ever going to look at it. So don't be worried about putting out garbage.
Yeah.
Because literally no one will see it. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm going to be so embarrassed. No, you won't. No one saw it. No.
But you can learn what sucked about it.
Exactly.
And then make it not suck the next time.
Yeah.
And then you do that 100 times and you might have something.
Yeah, what you don't want to do is what I do. Is like have really good videos and then put out some shit. The people are like, that's good. That was not good, but there's eyes on it. You don't want that. But so there's like really great stuff is going to go well.
Yeah.
And really bad stuff will never be seen. And there's like stuff in the middle that's like good and then gets lucky.
Right.
Now, good and gets lucky, no one can control for that.
No.
Right? But don't tell me your stuff's really, really great.
Right.
It could be good and you're not getting lucky. But it's not really, really great. So keep pushing it. Make it really great. It'll go.
But if you're great and you're getting unlucky on the views, but if you produce 50, what are the odds that it doesn't get picked up is the point,
Eventually
right?
you gotta go on that point, for sure. So I don't know, it's just...
So your type of magic, it's not just like traditional regular magic. You have like a special brand of magic.
Yeah.
Right? Tell us about what that is.
Man, this is one of the weirdest things and one of the hardest topics for me to discuss because I don't really understand it myself yet. I came up with this thing, my buddy Dave came up with it when I first started doing it, 2012 or so. I want to be stunt magician. Because at the time, I'm eating light bulbs, I'm walking on broken glass, I'm doing some circus acts, doing...
Chris Angel is also very
straight
popular.
jacket escapes and stuff.
Yeah.
But the term stunt magician didn't exist.
At all.
So like that's why I own all the URLs and all the Ask Stunt Magician on Instagram, all that stuff, because it just didn't exist.
Right.
Now if you look it up, it's actually a brand of magic under like agencies and stuff.
Interesting.
It was so catchy, and I started getting on these TV shows because of it. Right? Like, oh, hey, is this stunt magician? But then it turns out I just like being funny. And stunts, if you make a stunt funny, it loses all credibility as a stunt. Right? So
it's supposed to be dangerous and serious.
Yeah, exactly. And I just couldn't do it.
Right.
And I didn't like it. I was just like, goofing around, and then also it's hard on your body. So I slowly phasing out these stunts. I mean, I'm still, in my opinion, doing random stunts. Like I'm going on stage in my underwear, and I'm looking through women's purses. I'm still swallowing balloons here and there, right? Like I just all this weird, crazy. It's just more crazy antics than anything.
Right.
But people are like, oh, I thought you were lighting yourself on fire and jumping off buildings. Like that's what it sounds like to them, I guess.
Right.
It's very weird. So I've sort of just been pushing away from the thing that's made me unique, which is weird. My show, when you watch it, is still unlike any other magic show. There's not a lot of traditional magic. It's very casual and very like just doesn't take itself seriously.
Right.
It's more about the personal interaction you're having with like your audience.
It's way more like we're all gonna have a good time,
Yeah.
and then the magic's secondary, right? So it's like I'm putting everybody else as enjoyment in front of my ego as a magician.
Right.
I'm still gonna fool you all night long on the show,
Right.
But it's just gonna be so disarming and weird. And like you'll sort of see behind the curtain on a couple tricks because it's funnier, you know.
Right.
Like I have one mind reading trick, and at the end I just turn around and like you can totally see how the trick works. But it's hilarious, right? So
Right.
let's do it. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
So I just stuff like that. So I have a very unique way of doing it. But yeah, what really made me popular was a stunt magician, and I still get calls from TV shows all the time. You got any stunts you can come do? And I'm like, not really. And then I'm like, I even if I do have a bunch I could do, and they might have seen some old videos. Like, maybe come do this one. Like the last thing I want to do is get famous for something I don't want to perform.
Right.
Which is really hard. Like that's gut check time when big shows calling.
Yeah, it's like we'll fly you out, give you some money,
and you get all this
and you know that you're going to leverage it to other things.
And then I'm like, okay, I want to do it, but I'd rather do this. You know, this one's way funnier. It's way more me. And they're like, I'm not interested in that.
Yeah.
And you're like,
they want something very specific.
Yeah, and that's a bit of I mean, I might, who knows? Maybe in 6 months from now, I'll be like, I need this exposure. I'll do it, right? Like, yeah, I'm a hooker. I'll take the money. Like, but I don't know. I might just go for it. Who knows? Like, at some point, you got to make different decisions.
Well, I think it's like, you know, what was the quote that somebody told me? It's like sometimes you got to do things that you don't want to do in order to do things you want to do, because it's like you get the opportunity, you get the exposure, and or it's like, and at worst you're like, okay, I don't like doing this, and then you move on, right?
Well, a lot of people, if they look at my stuff, any of my stuff, I don't really market towards family shows,
right?
Like it's all colleges, comedy festivals, comedy clubs, theaters, whatever. So people think I don't do family stuff, but I do family stuff all the time. I don't. It's not my favorite, but it's like you said. Like I do it.
But does that get YouTube views, and does that get like day-to-day views? Like not so much, but you can do it.
Bills, and it puts it just pays the bills more than anything, right?
Right.
And sometimes you gotta just do stuff to pay the bills. I have fun with it. I love family shows. But it's not gonna build my brand the way I want to build it.
Right.
So, but yeah, a lot of people will hit me up with really tentative emails. Like, I'm sure I lose a lot of work because they look at my site and they go, probably not for us.
Yeah.
As soon as they ask, I'm like, yeah, you want PG? Sure.
Yeah.
You got 8-year-olds in the crowd? Yeah, fine by me.
Yeah.
I just won't say the jokes I like to say, and I won't take my clothes off. Right? And they're like, oh, you can do that? I'm like, yeah.
It's like the clothes
I'm a real person. I'm around children all the time. I rarely get naked or say inappropriate things. So I don't know. I don't know.
And people are surprised.
They are genuine. That's the biggest trick for them. Like, no way. He went the whole show. You can see him just sitting in the wings being like, wait till he slips up. I never do. I'm perfectly good.
So good.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So, I mean, you know, for somebody that's like either getting in the magic game or entertainment in general, what would be like the top, say, 2 or 3 tips that you could give somebody or advice?
Well, easy entertainment, doesn't matter what you're doing. Get out there and just perform in front of people as much as possible.
Right.
Like I don't know how many magicians there are in Vancouver. If I go to a magic convention in Vancouver, there might be 200-300 people that self-identify as a magician. And when I go out to the open mic nights for comedy and stuff, in 6 years I've never once run into a magician. I'm like, where are you guys performing? Because I'm working my tricks 2-3 times a week at these comedy clubs, trying to get them. Because that's the only place you can get stage time. Yeah. I'm like, hey man, get on the stage. Comedians, I love comedians. They work all the time, every night, 1-2 shows a night, 7-minute spots, 5-minute spots, no pay, right? Because they're grinding it and they're trying to get better. And I think that's the mentality more people have to adopt. That's number 1, get in front of people. Number 2,
well, it's like honing your craft, really.
Yeah, exactly. That's all it is. And magic, you can cheat magic a little bit because you don't need the audience to tell you if the trick's working. Right. Or so you think. You can sit here.
Well, I mean, mechanically
that's
speaking.
The thing, and that's where they all fall down.
But that's like, you know, if I could like bottle your brand, it's like your brand is you.
Right.
It's not the tricks.
100%. Most magicians I run into are technically more sound than me at doing magic.
But it doesn't matter because that's not what actually sells.
Yeah, and like, but if we both performed the same trick to you,
right.
you would like mine a lot more.
Right.
Because you don't care about the method. You don't care about this pinky goes here versus that and this move.
Yeah.
As long as you don't know how it works,
yeah.
you're having fun. You're like, whoa, this trick's great.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So like, I just tell any performer, I don't care, music, comedy, magic, whatever, get out there in front of people.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, it goes back to what we said before, is put it online.
Yeah.
Put the video up.
Yeah.
If it's good, it'll do well. If it's bad, no one's gonna see it anyway, so who cares?
And even if people comment like mean things, it's like,
it's fine.
You can get better. And, you know, sometimes if the feedback is actually constructive in any way, use it to your advantage.
Yeah, I some weeks, man, I'm deleting 200 hate messages a week in these comment sections. Just horrible things.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, real mean stuff. But it's so sad. And like, you know, but even like my most popular video will have like 15,000 dislikes on it.
Right.
It's like, okay, cool.
Well, some people just
they don't
appreciate it.
Don't like it.
but you still watched it.
Yeah. It's, I don't know. You get used to it after a while.
Yeah.
But that'll take a toll on you the first.
Well, I think it's a thick skin. Like people, it's not an easy thing to develop. Tough skin.
And there's only one way to develop it, is go through it and be really kind of sad and second guessing yourself a lot.
Yeah.
And then just realizing that like, whatever, I have to.
Yeah.
And you make it through. My buddy Ivan just had a Netflix special for comedy.
Wow.
And it was his first time. He's never really had like viral YouTube stuff or whatever, but Netflix is basically the same thing. Millions of people are going to watch this.
Right.
Yeah.
And so then the comments start coming in, and now he's like, all in his head, like,
he's like reading them.
I'm doing this weird thing with my left arm the whole time, and I'm like, yo, chill out, man. They gave you a special because you're one of the funniest guys in all of Canada.
Yeah.
So just do what you're doing because it's working.
Yeah.
And he's like, I gotta change. I'm like, don't listen to them.
Yeah.
It's just a comment.
Well, but now it's like inauthentic.
Yeah.
If you change too much.
And his left arm was super weird. Yeah. I didn't like it either, but go with it.
It didn't matter at the end of the day.
No, it doesn't matter. And like, but it's hard. I did a cruise ship show a couple years ago, and 200 people walked to the theater, middle of my show. Just like slow and steady, just people leaving. Just didn't like it. Wasn't what they signed up for.
Yeah.
It's like, cool. And like, I'm on the ship for the rest of the week in my cabin, hating myself, rewriting my thing. I'm like, I gotta buy some doves. I gotta get a top hat. Like, I started doing that. Like, I gotta buy a sequiny shirt. Like, I started rewriting this whole act. I get off the boat. I go to Edmonton to do a theater show there.
Right.
I get a standing ovation.
Right.
I'm like, don't perform for 75-year-old people on a cruise ship.
Right.
That's what I need to do, not change my whole life.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's like
the audience.
Yeah.
There's so many places to perform is that you have to find the audience.
Yeah.
Whether it's online or offline.
Yeah.
Right? So if something doesn't work, and I think this is what people have difficulty, it's like, am I good enough? Is it good for this audience? Or is it good at all?
Right.
And I think because there's so many options, it's difficult to find that niche.
Yeah.
And like critical feedback that's good is very hard to come by.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That's actually probably the number one thing holding most people back.
Yeah.
And the fact that even when they do get it, they don't listen to it.
Yeah.
That's another one.
That's hard to know what advice to take or what feedback to actually take. Like, because, man, some of it, I mean, I feel like I took some advice along the way and I regret it. I'm like, why did I do that? You know? But then the other ones, I'm like, am I just being arrogant and stubborn? Like, I'm sure every industry has the same sort of feeling.
Yeah.
Where you're like, I don't know, am I just... Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying not to be too egotistical, but I definitely can tell sometimes.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, I don't know. Even now, I'm just thinking about like, I just filmed my whole hour show and just put it up on YouTube for free, and there's a few choices I made in that, rewatching it, and editing it and stuff. I was like, probably could have just bit the bullet here and added some music or whatever.
Right.
But I'm so against that. I'm like, no, it's not what I need. But like. A bunch of people told me I should do it. I probably should have done it. Like so it's weird stuff. I don't know what advice to take.
The problem is that like feedback, I would say is 80% wrong usually, but then that 20%, it's which out of the 100 comments, which are the 20 that are actually like gonna help you. And figuring that out is insanely hard.
I think it's all about like who's giving the feedback and what is their motivation, right?
Yeah.
Like, is it genuine? Like, are they just simply trying to help you? because they want to see you grow and succeed?
Yeah.
Or are they giving you feedback because it's like, yeah, but I just didn't like what you did?
Yeah.
Right?
That's a good point.
And on top of that, even if people want your best interests, is it the right feedback anyway? Right? Because they could just be wrong on top, right?
Yeah.
Well,
that happens a lot, I think.
Yeah.
People honestly are just not right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just an opinion they're throwing out there, and you're like, it's just not
Well, it's like, it's interesting. Like, I mean, even for myself, I remember going into business and, my parents were like, oh, you might want to stick at a job and blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like, hey, I'm opening another business number 5.
Right.
And they're like, oh yeah, sounds great. It's like, there's been a wide swing.
Yeah.
Right before it was like, you might want to be careful.
Right.
But then once you prove them wrong like 2 or 3 times, it seems that they change their opinion.
Totally. It's weird too because the failing is never as bad as people like.
No.
People always sort of they sort of make it sound like you're going to be homeless or something.
At best.
Yeah, and it's like what? Like
so some people you don't know don't like you.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, yeah, no one's failing that hard. Like, I don't know what I mean. Like, even like a failed business is like, oh man, okay. And then you scrounge, you figure it out, and you pick up a side gig or whatever, and you make it work.
Or worse, you get a job.
Or you get a job. Oh no, right? Like, whatever. And then you figure something else, you regroup, and you go again. It's like, it's not like you're going to be destitute. They always make it sound like that. I'm like, it's fine.
Yeah. Well, I think it's like fear, right? It's like irrational fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
They just don't know.
One of the best things, because you talk about your parents, like when I told my parents to be a magician, right?
Yeah.
To my face, so nice to me. They were very nice. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like, that's cool, right?
They're thinking it's like, this is a phase.
I don't know what they all said to each other after I was out of the room, but I think they thought it was, they had to have thought it was going to be a phase, because even I wasn't sure.
Right.
And then I remember a few years ago, I got a gig in Jakarta, Indonesia.
Oh, wow.
I was like, they called me like, can you be this opening act for this band we have at a music festival? Be like 6,000 people, put you on the stage with these huge monitors. I'm like, yeah, and this time I never quoted a gig overseas. I didn't know.
Right.
So I was like, $5,000.
Yeah.
And they're like, yep. And I'm like, in US. They said yes so quick, right? And I was like,
You're like, how much money did I leave on the table?
Yeah. And I'm like, oh yeah, of course, US. I'm like, and flights and accommodation. They're like, absolutely. I'm like, and you have to pay for my assistant.
And they just keep saying yes, and you're like, what have I done?
Yeah. So they're like, great, I'll send the contract. I'm like, cool. And I hang up and I go, I need to find an assistant. So my girl couldn't come, my brother couldn't come, my best friend just had a kid.
Yeah.
So I was like, hey, Dad, you want to come?
Be my assistant.
Yeah, and he was like, yeah, okay. So, and we've never even been on a plane together.
Oh, wow.
So, like,
okay.
we go over to Indonesia together. It was, like, so random and fun. And it was the first time he really understood, like the scale of it.
Yeah.
So, like, we go do this thing. I walk on stage. There's 6,000 people screaming. They don't care about me, right? Like, they just... Like they're probably yelling, "Get off the stage! The band's coming up!" But I do 15 minutes, kill it.
They're having a good time.
They're having a good time. I leave. My dad's like, "Okay, now where do we go?" I'm like, "Oh, that's it." That's it. I'm
It's like you got paid that much for that.
I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, now we're just here for 4 days, and we're just gonna see the sights and hang out.
Yeah.
It was like, and like. It totally changed the game because he got the. What do you know as a parent? You don't know. He's not asking me like, "What are you making every day?" I didn't ask those questions, so he's just kind of feeling it out. But now once he saw it firsthand, he was like, "Whoa, this is a real thing," you know?
Right.
Do you have like a couple? I mean, you've done so many different types of events and things and shows. Like, do you have a couple like standout moments in your career where you kind of like either like, man, like I feel like I kind of made it here, or you feel like this is so good, like, I can't believe it's gotten like this good.
Yeah, I have a few. I have a weird sort of a relationship to that kind of question. It's a good question, though. I like it. I always have to remind myself, I'm very aware of, like, making it. I don't even know what that means. Like, if you told me 7 years ago that I'd be making, more money than whatever I made at that job.
Right.
And I would be performing all over the world, like, and stuff. It wouldn't even make sense to me. I'd be like, yeah, that's the Mount Everest, that's the top.
Right.
Yeah.
And then now, I just sort of, all I see in front of me are more goals and things I want to achieve.
Yeah.
And it's never enough kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I always, I always feel like my mom enjoys my successes more than I do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She's like, "You're on TV again," and I don't even see it. I'm just like, "Yeah, I gotta go and do the show, whatever."
Yeah.
And then and she's all pumped up, and I'm like, "Oh, I should be excited because this is what this is, right?" Like as you go. So I'd say there's two really big moments for me. One was three. The one was that first show I did at the Rio Theater because my first public show, and I'm in the green room. I haven't been out in the lobby at all. I'm back there prepping or whatever. And my phone's blowing up. Finally look at it, there's messages after messages. Like, "Hey man, I think I'm here. Is it at the Rio? Is this your show?"
Mm-hmm.
And then one of them says, "You need to look outside." I'm like, "Huh?" I look outside and the lineup's around the block.
Wow.
They had to turn away 100 people more.
Like people that were walk-ins that didn't buy tickets beforehand.
No one really bought tickets beforehand. They're all buying at the door.
But they just ran out.
Yeah,
Jeez.
like packed, oversold.
Wow.
People have to turn away, and I didn't expect that. I expected maybe to fill the bottom part a little bit, like
right.
So like I remember being like, "Oh, damn!" Like I remember just sitting back there being like I don't know. It kind of was like, "This is gonna work," you know. And that was
until you didn't know until that point.
Moment was like really when I started being like, "Oh, I'm gonna be a magician forever." Like I kind of hit me right then, and then you know when I went on America's Got Talent. Was another moment, like not because like I don't really hold that show I don't really care much, but it was one of those moments where you're like, you're out there, you do your thing, and the judges like you, and it's just this weird, you can't help but feel validated by that.
Well, there are people that are like experts in entertainment business to some degree.
Yeah, and one of the judges on my second round was a guest judge. It was Michael Bublé, who I like, and he's from here.
Yeah.
So when I walk out, I'm like, "Bublé, I'm from Langley." Like, very first thing I said, he's like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, Langley." And he's like, "Oh, okay." And then he's like, so he said nothing but nice things to me. And then it was really a weird experience. But then Penn and Teller fool us because like magicians, that's the best, and like these guys, you know. And the trick I did on there, they released the first season of that show about 3 or 4 years before in the UK. They shot the first season,
right?
And then it just died, and they didn't bring it back for a couple of years until got the Vegas version. But on the UK version, I remember watching it, and I had just sort of quit my job at the time, and I had this trick, and I'm like, I would love to do this trick on that show. Yeah. And that is the trick they ended up letting me do in the show years later.
Really?
It's crazy. And then like my brother's in the audience because like I flew him out for his birthday because I had the show. Yeah. And so then they're like, "You fooled us," and I like look over at him like. I already told him many times before, I'm like, "I'm just here to be looking good. I'm not here to fool anybody." So he was like, so we were both just super surprised. It was like, at that moment I was like, oh, "Okay." And then
these guys are like, you know, magic encyclopedias. It's like the odds of fooling them are very low.
Oh man. And then I go off stage. I'm the last guy. They filmed 12 of us that day. Yeah. I'm the last guy to film. No one's fooled them that day. So I fooled them at the end of the day. I leave. And like they come roaring backstage, like Penn Teller whips open the curtain, and like the producers are trying to separate us because you're not really supposed to. They don't want us commingling. It's not part of the show. You're supposed to keep them apart, whatever. Right. So and Teller's like, he's like, "How does the trick work?" And when Teller talks to you, you answer it. So I just told him right away. I only had to say one word, and they knew. Yeah. And then Penn's like. And Penn kicks open the door and storms out. And Teller's like, "That's great." And I was like, "Oh, thanks, man." And I'm like, they're trying to drag me into the elevator. And Teller's got his hand on the elevator door. He's like, "No, that's great." I'm like, "Oh, thanks, man." And he's like, "I read Teller." It was like that scene in Good Will Hunting where he's like, "It's not your fault." He was doing that. That was great. And I just started bawling my eyes out. Yeah. I couldn't help it, right? So my magic idol telling me how great it was. I'm just crying. I just go downstairs and just bawling my eyes. So to get down, all the other performers down there, they don't know what's happened. They're not allowed to see. Yeah. All they see is the door open, me crying. They're like, "Oh, this is a bit rough, eh?"
Good thing I didn't fool them.
Good times, man. So yeah, those ones really stand out. TV moments, but that first theater show for sure.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. It's like those like moments like define and like they keep you going. Yeah. Right until you get to the next one, and that charges you up for another couple of years. But I don't know if you found this, but I found it like as things go better for you, those moments get further apart because the scale that you're looking for gets bigger every time. And because like, you know, at the beginning you're like, oh, like, you know, if you think about it, you're like kind of like, okay, my first show, this is me, and this means that if I can do shows like this, I can be a professional magician and make an average salary, right? But then the next one, you're like, okay, that moment has more to do with something that's, you know, maybe 2 or 3 times bigger, and then 2 to 3 times bigger. So it exponentially gets harder.
Nick, that's one of the best things anyone said
so it gets
in a long ass time.
So it gets further out.
Yeah.
So it's like at first your successes can come every year.
Yeah.
Then 2, then 5, then 10. Right? If you really think about it.
I was literally explaining to a performer earlier in the month, and I was saying that I feel like this is the first year I've plateaued.
Yeah.
But it's more about what you're talking about.
100% it is.
Man,
but it goes back.
Changed my whole reference frame right there.
But that's what you said when you were like, my mom's super excited I was on TV again, and you're like, yeah, it's like because it's become. Because your frame of reference is like you're looking at that next plateau on that climb to the top of the hill.
Yeah, now
But every segment of the hill, it's like, it's maybe 1 kilometer to the next plateau, and then the next plateau is 2, and then 5, and then it just gets like asinine, right?
Yeah.
To some degree, but like that's a huge problem that people have, and that's where people like that's what determines where you stop. Can you get to that next point where you're like, I feel like I've made it again?
Right.
And that's why celebrating the small things is so important, right?
Yeah. That's good. I like that a lot.
But so it's not that you've plateaued. It's just that you haven't achieved as much as you want because your goals are becoming,
just bigger.
Yeah. In reference to the last one.
Yeah.
Right? But it's not like a one-to-one thing. So before you needed to put 100 units of work to get this goal. Well, the next one's 2 and 5 and blah blah blah, right?
Definitely. Yeah.
That's what it is.
That's great. I like that a lot.
Yeah. So there's probably a lot of other magicians right now that would be like, man, like looking at the stuff you've done, it's like I would love to do that.
Yeah.
Right?
Totally. And that's that's great. And I have guys I look at and go, oh man, he's really doing it, right?
Yeah.
Like my buddy Justin has like a Netflix show called Magic for Humans, right? And it's so good.
Yeah.
And he's so good.
I wanted that for this
like, yeah. And he's been on and I look at this list of talk show appearances. I have 0. He's been on Rachel Ray 48 times.
What?
Yeah, and the Tonight Show, and then Conan and Fallon and everything. I'm like, what? He's I'm like, what? And I can't help but be like, damn, Justin, he's killing it, right? And I'm just a lowly bum over here, right? And then there's 2,000 magicians in Canada being like, oh, I'd really like to be where Wes is at. So it's hard to feel that, but I like that. I feel pretty level-headed about it all. So I'm not popping champagne corks when I have anything good happen. Really, but I'm also not crying in a corner, so I'll take it even.
That's a good medium.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
So I guess for you, what is the definition of success now? It changes.
It does change, and I definitely say for me, it's probably always been the same. Where I always feel successful if I'm making my my sort of medium-term goals.
Right.
So anything I've set out that's like a year or two in the future kind of thing.
Right.
Every time I get closer to those or start achieving those, I feel like I'm successful.
Right.
And that naturally obviously just scales up, so I keep just becoming more successful in the big picture, I guess.
Yeah.
But I don't feel it unless I'm sort of achieving these marks.
Right.
It's like right now on YouTube, I think I'm 130,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
I really want to get to 500,000.
Right. So it's like your next goal.
Yeah, and so it's like if I don't get there in the next little while, I'm not going to feel overly successful about it.
Right.
Even though I might. What even if I double? I'm telling you right now that even if I double, I'm still going to feel bad. No, that's a weird thing to feel. Yeah. But I think for me, it's always about ticking off those medium-term goals. I really like. I don't really make long-term goals because I don't know what they would even look like. I don't even know what I want out of my life.
That's fair.
So yeah, that's pretty much for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's what happens a lot of the time is that people think that success is milestones, and sometimes it is.
Right.
But I think to me, it's I think it's happiness. It's well, how can I reverse engineer my own happiness based on who I am?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You know what? Actually, when you say it like that, I don't. When you said happiness, it kind of changed my view on this a little bit because whenever people ask me sort of that side of it,
right,
I go if I had to live the rest of my life the way the last 2 years have gone, I would totally take that deal.
Yeah.
Right now, sign on the line because I'm genuinely.
But that means that you're winning the game, right?
Yeah, and it does. And I didn't really think about it.
And that means that you're winning the game every day.
Yeah.
Sure is better than filling potholes, right?
It is. Yeah. Oh my god, it's so much better.
Yeah. But to that point, right? If you're happy and that's true, the problem that inevitably occurs, and this is probably why the goals, to your point, is so important, is that in this world, you're either growing or shrinking.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as, maintaining.
Yeah.
So in order to...
Tell it to my biceps. Sorry.
But, that's what it is, right? So in order for you to maintain, like, what you're doing and what you're doing day to day for, the rest of your life, well, you got to keep getting better at your craft.
Yeah.
Right?
Totally. Because
with, the access on the internet and being what it is, there's going to be some guy that comes up.
Totally.
And there's only so much screen time. There's only so many Netflix specials. There's only so many, like, spots on TV. So you have to constantly get better. There's no choice.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's definitely what it is. It's and that's where, like, it becomes weird, like, where to put your attention too, because even in the few things you mentioned, even as a magician, there is, like, especially what I'm doing, like, do I put more effort into my jokes? Do I put more effort into learning new tricks?
Right.
Do I develop the stage stuff, or do I develop the TV camera stuff? Like, there's, like, all these different things. So sometimes I feel like, oh man, I made a lot of sick videos the last month, and then I go on tour, do some shows, and I'm like, whew, the show is a bit rusty, right? The thing that's actually paying me right now, I'm like, uh-oh, and I kind of have this internal battle, like, I've kind of been neglecting this one thing, so it's hard to know where to put the energy, but that's another thing, I guess, that keeps me happy, is just the variety, keep moving it around.
Well, I think it's like what it was, it's, you're, when you play the game that you want to play, you've won by default.
Sure. Yeah.
Right?
Totally.
That's what it really comes down to.
Totally.
And then the effort needs to be into, like, how much effort do I need to put in order to keep playing the game?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and some people have weird markers too, because, like, for me it's a pretty low, like, effort to keep sort of maintaining, but, like, I live in a 1-bedroom apartment that I rent, like, I don't have, like, lavish goals I'm trying to hold on to. Some people, like, I need to buy the big house or whatever. I gotta get a flashy car, right? Doing pretty good. Not everybody can lease a Jeep Patriot. But yeah, no, like, it doesn't, like, my markers are so low. It doesn't matter to me.
But that's an advantage.
That is an advantage. That's what I'm saying. So
because it allows you to do what you want to do.
Exactly.
Because you're not encumbered by the demands of, like, maintaining, like, a giant mortgage or whatever it is.
So, like, so, like, I feel like I'm winning the game, but somebody might look at me from the outside and go, like, dude, you don't even have the things. And they might not think I'm, but as long as you feel like you are.
But that's their game, right?
Totally.
And if they're happy, like, only they can answer that.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right? I think that people get too caught up on other people's definition of happiness.
Yeah.
Because defining happiness for yourself, I think, is, like, fairly difficult.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, oh, like, things, people are saying things are the marker. So a nice house, nice car, that's, like, if I achieve those and have some nice clothes, like, that's happiness. It's like, well, no, that might be one person's definition of it, but is it yours?
My brother and I we're a year apart. We couldn't be more different. Like, he lives in Alberta, he sells farm equipment, he makes more money than me, he has a couple houses, right? He's taller, but he has less hair. So, like, I'm winning this game. No, but, like, he's super happy too, but but, like, our metrics are completely, you wouldn't even recognize them as similar. Yeah. So I'm always just make sure to be happy for him, but even though I'm like, you live in Lethbridge. Right? And it's like, you rent a small apartment, so you won't stay with me. But yeah, no, it's definitely, you got to make sure you're playing your own game. That's what a lot of people, especially with social media, you're just looking at everybody else's thing.
Yeah.
It's like, don't do that, man. That's nothing but misery in there.
Yeah.
Right? Like, only... if
it makes your life better in some way, like, some feedback or some motivation, it's like, great.
Yeah.
Keep it up, right? But if it's... all of it's causing you, it's like, oh, I want that, or I don't feel fulfilled because I don't live this life. It's like, well, you might want to not follow that person.
Yeah. You look for music, comedy, motivation. That's what all this good on social media. If you're looking at something and feeling bad about yourself,
like, it's easier to assign, like, happiness to things that are tangible, right? Which is why I think people often look at things like, it's like, those are tangible things you can assign that happiness to. And I think that on social media, when you see other people living a certain way, it's tangible for you, right? And so it's like, it's so easy to look at it and be like, that's the thing that I want, right? That's going to make me happy, but then you get it and it's like, no, it's actually not what I wanted. It's what I wanted, right?
Yep. You ever look at somebody that you're like, you think they have, like, a really good body, but then you talk to them for a few minutes, you realize, like,
they feel worse about it.
Yeah, they don't even, like, they just have some other person in mind, like, oh, this guy over here or whatever.
Yeah.
And you're like, huh? And it's like it's hard to wrap your head around, but it's just like
it's what it is. But for everything,
it's that for everything.
Yeah, money, possessions, like they look like they have a better family life than I. It's like no, they just pose for 3 selfies a day, and then afterwards they just fight. You just don't know that,
totally.
right? So totally. But it is what it is, right?
So you're pretty involved with YouTube, right? You started with doing a lot of events. Now you're doing a lot more stuff, online, posting videos. And so for you, like, tell us a little bit, like, in terms of, obviously, like, you didn't finish business school, didn't do like digital marketing as a course or anything. So it's like, are you just figuring out how to do this stuff yourself?
Yeah.
Like, is it really just, are you figuring out like what's the content that like people really want to see? Like what's the cool trick that I really want to share with people? And then as far as like getting it in front of them, like just figuring out how to do it.
Yeah, I'm still figuring that out. It's a lot of trial and error still. Yeah. Everything I've learned about YouTube is just through trial and error, or now through friends that do it. So like I soak it up. Like if people want to talk to me about cameras and lenses and new mics, I'm like all about listening. Gotta get this gear, not that gear. Okay, learning, and then like I gotta learn Final Cut, gotta learn Adobe, gotta learn like. So now I'm like I can edit. Like I never thought I'd be good at video editing. What? It's like most of my day now is editing video, and I'm really good at it now. And like wasn't a skill I even wanted to learn. Right. And like I never thought I'd use Photoshop. My uncle's a graphic designer. He always talked about Photoshop all years, whatever. And I didn't even. What a fountain of knowledge. I'm like, why would I ever need to know Photoshop? And now I just like, I hover over it all day. Just
like for the thumbnails.
8 hours to make a thumbnail. Not because I'm bad at it, just because I'm like, I love this, I just tinker with it and make it the best I can. But it's so weird what people want to see. That's it. That's always the battle. For me, all my videos have done really well. I would say out of the 8 videos that I have that are in the millions, I have 8 or 9 in the millions. I would say 7 of them are me live on stage performing at a theater.
Wow.
And maybe 1 or 2 is me doing magic, like
the street stuff, like street stuff. Yeah.
Well, it's really hard to maintain a weekly upload schedule of theater performances, and new material in the theater is so much harder than trying close-up magic on the street. Like it can't be done. Yeah. So I can't literally sustain that. Yeah. So I kind of just...
It's an interesting point. Like,
I don't know what to do.
I think that it's like, it goes back to the whole doing what you don't want to do in order to do the things that you want to do. Because I think it's interesting, like, I would care to wager, and again, I don't know enough about your specific area of YouTube enough, but I would care to wager that if you had 500 to 1 million subscribers, you could do the street stuff and it would probably be okay. Yeah. But you need to get there first through other means first. Yeah. Because it's like the whole like, what gets you from 0 to 100 is different from what's going to get you to 100 to 10,000. Yeah. And 10,000 to 100,000 requires a different strategy than 100 to like 5, right? Yeah. And so you need to like, if you see one thing work, just do as much of it as you can. Yeah. And then once it stops working, you need to like find that next iteration to go to that next level, right? Yeah.
It adapt or die on YouTube for sure is like, and what got you the first view won't get you the next view. You gotta move around. When I first started YouTube, 2014, I started a long time before that, but first like had a viral video, 2014, subscribers didn't matter back then, believe it or not.
That's true, yeah.
Like, and even like the advice I was getting from any kind of social media experts or whatever, or other YouTubers, it's like, don't worry about subscribers, you want to get the views. Yeah. So like I just ignored the fact that I was gaining subscribers, and I was just like, get the views, and then they changed their whole algorithm from views to watch time. I took like a crazy money cut on that, like almost knocked me from decent to like 0. Wow. And then I started
overnight.
Oh yeah, just in a day, divide by 10 what I was taking home. Wow. And I was like, oh, hello. Yeah. And so then you have to adapt, and I started trying to figure out like, I got to build a subscriber base. I basically didn't care about the first 70,000. I didn't even know they were there. I didn't even look at it. Yeah. And then like the last 60,000, I've like cultivated and worked on. Like, hey, let's build this as a channel. But it's like, and I'm gonna have to pivot again on something else, I'm sure. But, it's about being aware of it, because I was really sloppy up until about a year and a half ago. I wasn't really giving it the attention it deserves, and now I'm like all about it.
Right. So I'm assuming that based on kind of what you said, the reason that the subscribers matter so much more is A, the algorithm, but B, subscribers are more likely to watch more of the video. Because like a view, it's like, you watch like a couple seconds, it's like, okay, that's a view.
Yeah.
But dwell time on the actual video, i.e. like amount of time actually viewed, like subscribers just on average watch way more.
Yeah, they just because they're invested and they're going to watch right away. You're in the notifications, they pop up, they're in. So like I would say my channel at 130,000 subscribers actually behaves like a channel with 60,000 if you look at my metrics. Mm-hmm. And that's because these last 60,000 are ones that I've...
Right.
The first 70 are pretty sleepy. I don't even know if they really watch it because I kind of let them sit. I didn't really upload. It was kind of a dead channel for like a year or a year and a bit.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting. So I really... I learned that one the hard way.
Yeah.
So every time I see people now, my friend Yumi, she's a Vancouver comic.
Yeah.
She's blowing up on YouTube right now.
Right.
She's got 100,000 subs in like the last 30 days.
Jeez.
Wow. And I'm like, yo, Yumi, upload, go.
Yeah.
And she won't.
Strike when the iron's hot,
She
like
won't.
go. Yeah.
She won't upload.
Huh.
I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I literally made this mistake. And she's sleeping.
The audience is fickle.
I know.
But it comes in waves. It's like, you're hot and like that's where you have to crank up the heat. And then even if you stay at that level of activity, it'll die right down. Yeah. And then you gotta, then you can slow down a bit and then wait until the next pickup and then you've got to go hard again.
Yeah, you can see there's a ton of monster YouTube channels that are like pretty dead now. They have 5 million subscribers or whatever a few years ago. And now their uploads, instead of getting 1 million every time they put up a video, it's like 10,000. Like, what happened to this channel? They didn't adapt. Right. They tried to do the same thing forever and they forgot that like it's...
Adaptation's a tough thing though, especially like anything to do with entertainment, which is any social media to me. I consider, if you're not a business or an entrepreneur, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, it's entertainment.
Yeah.
Really, it's escapism, right? For the regular user. Definitely. So, I mean, at the end of the day, anything to do with entertainment, it's fickle. And it changes so fast. And in the internet age now, it changes even faster.
Yeah.
And so getting left behind is pretty real.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Right? And like you don't pivot for 6 months, it's like that could be it.
Yeah. Scary.
It is.
Yeah.
But I think that's just the world we live in.
Yeah.
People are just on ADD basically.
It's also online. Like things have just evolved so much in the last 3 to 5 years in terms of like especially content. Like, how much YouTube has changed since its first inception, right? Like now there's so much content, same thing for like SEO, for like Google searches, video searches, all that stuff, right? It's like there's just such a volume of what's being produced out there that like for you to actually, get somebody's attention, you have to have something that's either exceptional, that's way better than the norm, or you have to have a subscriber, someone who really likes you so they continue to watch those things, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
So for yourself then, like what's next in terms of, you have the 500,000 sub goal.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm assuming that goal has something to do with you want to start focusing more on the online rather than the offline. Or is that a part of it? Or like what's the Wes Barker master?
My offline, like my live shows and stuff is good. The last 3 years it's been good. Like I like how many shows there are.
Yeah.
And I like I'm really not it's hard to explain. Like I'm trying to grow that.
Yeah.
But the way I want to grow it is more theater shows. Like in more cities.
Yeah.
And the way to sell tickets to those is to have more fans. And the way to get more fans is to get more YouTube subs.
Right.
So I'm really trying to build a fan base for my live shows ultimately.
Yeah.
So they kind of both have to go together, but I do need to focus on that. But I don't really need to, I'm not trying to pick up like more corporate shows and more college shows. Like I'm not really trying to do that because the amount I have right now is fine. I mean, I never say no, but like, it's a good balance.
Yeah.
And I'm not so busy that I can't spend all day making videos every day. Right. So it is like, I don't want to ever just sort of jump ship. I love live performing too much.
Yeah.
But I'm really trying to build that fan base because I know there's 10 million fans out there who I'm their favorite magician.
They just don't know it.
They haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Like I know, because a lot of people love magic. It's so popular right now. Yeah. And there's so many people that like, oh, that's kind of neat, but like, smoke and music, and it's not their style, and they're gonna dig my vibe, and I just gotta keep reaching for them and show them, like, hey, come over here, it's fun. right?
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to find those people because they're out there. They're looking for me too.
Yeah.
I just haven't crossed paths yet.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's hard to figure out.
Yeah, it's tough to find the right people, right? And volume is how you fix that.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, to some degree.
Yeah, and that's I think that's it. It's just like, yeah, and who knows? Like I put up a video 5 months ago that just popped off like crazy, and it didn't pop off till like 2 weeks ago. You know what I mean?
Wow!
Like
so 4.5 months later, then it picks up.
And I didn't know that happened anymore. I thought like it's like now if you drop a video, it's gonna go or not really.
Yeah.
And I get ones every now and then. And I'm like, oh, that's like an old video, 5 months old, super old, and it's just like I'm like, whoa, what the hell? I see a spike, I have to go digging for it, and I'm like, okay.
It can come down to like one person that shares it with like 20 people, and those people have shared once or twice, and they post it, and all of a sudden it's like, the spider web goes off.
So I try to remember that everything you put up, it doesn't go up and evaporate. It stays there, it lives there, and people find it. They'll stumble across it.
Right. Well, the interesting thing too, is to some degree, is that it all comes down to, even if you get 10,000 views on something, or even 100.
Right.
If the one right person sees it, that works at like Netflix or NBC or wherever it is, they're like, I want that.
Yeah.
Right? All of a sudden you get a phone call on something that had no views.
Yeah.
Right?
I remember doing a video with Dan MacArthur for his real estate.
Yeah.
And the video had like, whatever views you got on Facebook, 100 or something.
Yeah.
But he like sold the house because of it.
Yeah, totally.
And he's like, I don't care to get a million views in these videos.
I don't have to.
I'm aiming at the people that are like, oh, a few people watch it. Someone goes, I like this guy. Like, what? Like, of course.
But if 100 of the right people see it, that could be like 10 sales over the next year for him.
Exactly. So
and that's his year.
Yeah. Exactly. So it's like you can do no wrong. There's really no risk in putting it out there. It's like just as much as you can, as often as you can. It's like marriage. Get married early, get married often. She won't watch this. I told you guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna keep hammering away. I'll make it. I'll get there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think a lot of people would say that you already have.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, I'll make it again.
I'll fail just so I can climb back up to where I am today.
I'm gonna delete my YouTube account just to build it back.
Restart.
Up.
Yeah.
Oh man, I wonder how that would go. So that's a big thing in magicians is selling your own decks of playing cards. It really is. Like my Chris Ramsey's cards are called first playing cards.
Right.
And yeah, he sells them by the 10,000s. It's crazy.
10,000.
Isn't that nuts? Yeah.
It's all the cards.
Yeah. All right. So do a trick. Pick a card. Any card.
I'm gonna pick this one.
All right. Take it out. Remember it.
Yeah.
All right.
Remember
it. It is the Queen of Diamonds. I know you're not very impressed by that. Like, you just look at the cards. It's fine.
It's amazing. How did you guess?
Yeah, exactly. It's all about looking at it and pretending to shuffle. That's the two things I do. Okay, here we go. So what's going to happen is the card is going to hopefully shoot out of the deck, spin a bunch of times, I'm going to catch it. Great.
Awesome.
I know in high school when everyone's dating girls, losers. I'll do another one here.
Oh man.
Who needs girls when you have the Queen of Diamonds?
Exactly.
See, the thing is, I just don't understand what happens.
Well, you didn't have a lot of choices, right? Because no, they're all there. I wouldn't lie to you. Okay, here we go. So
they're all the Queen of Diamonds.
All right, here, take a different one. Doesn't matter. Reach in and grab one. Anyone you want. Yeah, same card. It's easy to remember that way, right? I guess. Remember, it's Queen of Diamonds, right? Is it the same card?
Yes, it's Queen of Diamonds.
I know, they're all different. How'd you do that? That's so weird. So weird. I'll do one more here. You take one too. All right. Anyone you want? Doesn't matter. Ooh, that one. Top one?
I was trying to give you a certain card.
No, I'm not trying to. I'm really not. Okay, remember it, everybody?
Yeah.
This one's gonna be weird because I don't know if I'm in the frame or not, but I'll try it like this. Okay. I have to show you guys. That's not it. It's red, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's not that one. So do a red one. So we spin it. We get the right color back. So weird.
What?
Yeah. It's all right. I always keep a card in my pocket too. Just in case. And then people like instant replay, like in sports, I have to do it more than once. But look, it looks like it goes in the deck, right? But it's already in my pocket. Watch, reach in and grab it. I'm messing with you. No, actually,
I had fun though.
Run sometimes. I get stuck. Come on, there. Oh, there.
Well, now we know why magicians sell card decks. It's like you just like chew through them.
Yes. Oh yeah, I'm hard on cards. So I've met some magicians that like have cards for like a long time, like months or even a year. I don't know. I'm just so.
You're like 3 days.
Yeah. Oh, every day a new deck of cards. I don't care.
Wow.
Yeah, that's good. That's pretty fun. But yes,
I have no idea how any of that happened.
Yeah.
that's weird. Then I.
Oh man.
That's right. I don't know.
Awesome.
Weird, right? Yeah. So that's pretty fun. That's kind of how I do it.
Did you watch that?
You'll figure it out. You'll figure it out in the edits. You'll figure it out.
Yeah. So thank you so much. Appreciate your time. And yeah.
It's great. Love it. Love what you guys are doing. It's great. Seriously, I think it's all.
Hey, we're trying things.
Anytime you have me, anytime anyone has me on a show or something, I know they're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
No, this is seriously good. I love it.
It's okay. I'm pumped up now.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And maybe pants next time.
Yeah. Can't promise anything.